Welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, episode number 178. And coming up on this one, the Weekend Warriors. The Leafs get all 4 points this weekend with a 5-4 shootout win over the Flames and a huge 5-2 win over the Canucks. Nylander continues to impress, and he continues to write checks to the bank. Looks like some much-needed secondary scoring has finally showed up. We got so many segments tonight. We got the Eagles Nest. We got Just the Tip, and we have a very special Hockey Hall of Fame weekend, Saturday Night 5. All this and more coming up on episode 178 of the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast.
Well, Chatty. Time for the boys to head off for a little European vacation with lots of Swedish meatballs and some cream pies involved for the boys in Sweden for sure. Am I talking about food? Not necessarily. Let's hit the intro.
Kamara's coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
Don't forget, follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at Tip In Podcast. You can follow us on TikTok, Tip In Podcast, and email us tipinpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to donate to the show, just go to patreon.com/Tip In Maple Leafs podcast to do so. Anyway, Dale.
Weekend Warriors, baby. Hell of a weekend.
Warriors. That was a hell of a weekend.
A little scary there on Friday night. We'll get into it here as we go. But look, Hall of Fame jam-packed edition of the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast here this evening. So let's go right to it. We'll get to the Flames game. We'll get to the Canucks game. But Hall of Fame night, Friday night chat. Unless you've got anything off the top, I would like to go right to the first segment of the evening.
No, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Eagles Nest.
Eddie the Eagle, great name.
And watch Belfour's stick. Wow.
All right, Piggy. Come on out, Piggy.
And put it right up into his face there, and Belfour's not going to take that. Wham! Right there. He came up high. And here it comes. And the Eagles all over him.
I bet you if you pop those jeans off, you're going to find a sweaty hog.
How in the world did he make that save?
He's pulling stuff now.
Wow.
All right, Piggy. Come on out, Piggy.
What better name than Eddie the Eagle?
All right, so if you're not familiar with the Eagles Nest, this is how it works. We're going to go through the goalies, and there's a lot of them from this Hockey Hall of Fame weekend. And we're going to talk about there's 3 ratings on the goalie. Either you're a sweaty hog, which means get out of town, you haven't been playing good, everything's bad. Stiff hawk, solid goaltending, giving your team a chance to win. And then spread eagle. I mean, we're talking lights out. We're talking Conn Smythe winning type of play.
Ed Belfour, Dallas Stars, 1999.
That's what we're talking about, spread eagle. So how do you want to do this?
Well, look, man, this is a very special edition of the Eagles Nest because we're going back like a Hall of Fame edition of the Eagles Nest. We're talking about 3 goalies getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Well, Monday night specifically, but they're going in. And then on top, we're going to grade the careers. So not games, but the first time here, we're going to be grading the careers for the Eagles Nest, giving a rating on that for these 3 dudes. And then we'll go to Wall for the Friday night game against Calgary, and we'll go to Samsonov for the Saturday night game against Vancouver. Let's kick it off with NHL Hall of Famer number 1. Come on down, Mike Vernon. Chad, where do you think Mike Vernon is at? We talking a sweaty hog career, a stiff hawk, or a spread eagle? What do you think? To start us off.
Don't you have to say spread eagle for Mike Vernon?
Don't have to. Some might not.
Wow. I mean, the Hall of Fame goaltender.
I know, but not everybody in the hall playing net is a full spread eagle. I got a couple here that I don't think are.
Did he not win the Conn Smythe the year that he won the cup?
He won the cup twice, one with Detroit, one with Calgary. The year in Calgary, he did not. The year in Detroit, I think he did, which is crazy. It's hard to recall that. Like 97, which isn't too long ago, I don't recall. Like the Detroit teams were so stacked, though.
I know that's
I might have maybe been able to pull out a Conn Smythe between the pipes there.
and goaltending in the 80s when Calgary won the cup is like, I don't know. It was so different back then. The game was so different. The goalies wore such small equipment. They didn't really have styles. They were just
So what's it going to be? What's
well,
it going
the
to
fact
be?
that, almost 10 years after he won the cup in Calgary, he was a Conn Smythe winner, even though Detroit was a great team. I gotta go spread eagle for me.
Okay, spread eagle out of the gate. For me, with Mike Vernon, good goalie, Hall of Fame goalie, arguably, but yes, they've decided to put him in there. For me, it's stiff hawk, okay? I didn't see enough. I know he's got a Conn Smythe and a couple cups. I didn't see enough out of Vernon. Like, who are we talking about here? Dominic Hasek, Marty Brodeur, Patrick Waugh? I don't think so. It's Mike Vernon, okay? There's only there's a level of dudes that spread eagle. He's not there. Hall of Famer, sure, good for him. Gets his ring on Monday night, all good. It's a stiff hawk for me. Anyway, spread eagle, stiff hawk out of the gate. No, can't complain here.
You can go.
Go to the Hall of Fame. Going to the Hall of Fame. Let's move on to Hall of Famer number 2, former Leaf, former Penguin, 2 Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh boy, the old righty catching mitt there, Tom Barrasso. Chad, what are you at with Tom Barrasso? Now okay. I might go off the board here.
No, look, I don't really know a whole lot about Tom Barrasso's career. Like I know he was a good goalie, but I always growing up viewed him kind of as a stiff hawk.
Yeah, okay.
Just like a solid goalie that give you the chance to win. Like I guess because I was so young, Mike Vernon always seemed to me he was like one of the best in the league because you always heard his name. But Tom Barrasso, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I would go stiff hawk.
Okay, stiff hawk. I think that's a fair assessment. I'm gonna just I don't think that's wrong by any means. Stiff hawk, 2 Stanley Cups with Pittsburgh, but let's be fair there too. Okay, Lemieux, Yager, like a hell of a team. Those Pittsburgh Penguins. You could have thrown someone else in that; they might have been able to get the job done too. On the other teams that Barrasso played for, not the best. I saw a lot of performances, some weak spots through the legs. It looked a little soggy down there to me. I think Tom Barrasso potentially, not all the time, but throughout, if you're just looking at the whole career, a lot of nights, Chad. I'm sorry, Tom. Sweaty hog.
No,
it's a sweaty hog for me. I know he won the 2 cups. But
you can't give a Hall of Fame goaltender a sweaty hog.
I think you can, and I just did. It's a sweaty hog.
I catches with the right hand.
The sweaty, well, just his Leaf stays and whatever. But like,
wow.
It's just a sweaty hog for me. So I'm a stiff hawk for Vernon. You're a spread eagle for Vernon. You're a stiff hawk for Barrasso. I'm a sweaty hog for Barrasso. Nothing more needs to be said, folks. Let's just leave it at that.
There you go.
Now let's move on to the King of New York, King Henrik. They call him Henrik Lundqvist. First time on the ballot, right into the Hall of Fame. Chad, I can't see. There's got to only be one option here, but go ahead, please.
Yeah. Well, for me, Lundqvist is a stiff hawk.
Oh, okay. For me, Henrik Lundqvist is full spread eagle. Now, I'm taking into consideration his play on the ice and his play off the ice.
Well, now you didn't say that came into play.
It shouldn't need to be said with this guy.
But that gives him an unlevel playing field against Mike Vernon and Tom Barrasso.
Oh, big time. Look at this guy. He could be a fucking GQ model, but like his off the ice. Okay,
well, he's a spread eagle times 10 if you're including his off ice play.
His off the ice play in Manhattan over the years. Spent his whole team with the New York Rangers. Oh, he almost got a sniff at the end with Washington, but it didn't work out because he was having heart issues and whatever. So basically spent his whole career with the Rangers. I can only imagine this guy, good looking dude, playing net for the Rangers his entire career. Wow. I'm just going spread eagle on the ice, but specifically off the ice. It's a spread eagle for me.
We'll just clarify. Dale has no idea what it was like off the ice for him. You just assume.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I can piece it together.
But you have no proof.
Was I in the room? No. Have I seen it on a flick here and there, possibly. I'm not sure. That face is blurred out. Can't confirm or deny. But for me, it's a spread. It's a spread eagle.
All right. Well, I got to change my answer to spread eagle because I did not know that you were going to bring into account the fact that the best looking man ever to play in the NHL and his Manhattan Nights out was in play.
Manhattan Nights. I like that. Yeah, man. So yeah, it's got to be into play. It's got to be into play. See, like Vernon and Barrasso, they don't get that luxury. Playing in Calgary, not that there's not hot women everywhere. Calgary, fucking Pittsburgh, whatever. But New York. That guy goes out on a Saturday after a game. Well, look out, folks. Look out. Anyway, so there we go for the Hall of Famers. Let's move it to the just nice little special treat off the top. Let's move it to the Leafs, Chad. Walt, to my surprise, I thought it would be vice versa here. Samsonov going against Calgary, Wall going against Vancouver. It didn't work out that way. Joseph Wall, Friday night against the Flames. Just to recap quickly here, Leafs were up 4-1 in this game, blew a 4-1 lead, ends up going to a shootout. They win it 5-4 in overtime, or in a shootout, sorry. Joseph Wall, the whole game. Where's he at? Friday night.
Like just for the game or kind of his play so far?
Let's just stick to the game. Just that one game.
Okay. Well, I guess he was a stiff hawk.
Okay, I agree.
I mean, they got the win, and that was all that mattered, but he did give up 4 goals.
Yeah.
So not the best. You can't be a spread eagle when you're giving up 4 goals.
No, not the best. But as the game, I know like he
was
they tied
teetering on Sweaty Hog.
It was leaning that way, but I thought late in the third, like the Flames did come back and, the Leafs blew a 4-1 lead, but late in the third, in overtime specifically, and in the shootout, I thought he was really good. If he would have let in a softie there or something, we're probably looking at a Sweaty Hog here, but I thought he kept them. He played really well late in the game, in overtime, in the shootout, some big saves. So yeah, I'm a stiff hawk for Joseph Wall for the Friday night game. We go to Saturday night against the Vancouver Canucks. The Leafs, very impressed by this victory. We'll get into this game a little bit more later, but possibly their best performance. I don't even think possibly. I think it was the Leafs' best game of the season all around. Samsonov, for me, kept them in there, looked really sharp at times, only gave up a 2 spot. The defense showed up to play. It's a stiff hawk.
It's a stiff hawk. And you know what? A stiff hawk for Samsonov right now is
very good.
Is very good.
Got the belt after the game. Did you see that?
Yeah, kind of thought it should have went to Gio, but I understand giving it to Samsonov.
Yeah, get his mental, Gio doesn't need it. No. Samsonov, Gio knows that he had a kick-ass fucking night. Samsonov, they're trying to lift him up a bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So there it is.
Yeah, there it is. There's the Eagles' nest.
First ever Hall of Fame edition. I don't know, man. With all those goalies going in, I just didn't see how we couldn't do it. But
yeah, you can play that game at home too. Just go on Google, look up all the NHL goalies, and just give a rating on however you feel.
Yep, for sure, man. All right, we'll move this along. There's a lot to go here. Hopefully, blowing leads is over. I wanted to touch on this. So, they hang on to beat the Flames after blowing a 4-1 lead. And then the next night, they beat Vancouver in a back-to-back situation, 5-2. I mean, you take that Friday performance and compare it to the Saturday performance. What do you think happened, in less than 24 hours as to, all right, enough of this shit, guys? Just enough? Tighten things up here, play better defensively. Those games are
that had something to do with it, for sure. I mean, you could totally tell. They played a better team defense on Saturday night. The forwards were coming back to help out,
and the defense looked a lot better too, not just the forward, just all around team defense, like you said. Yeah,
everything looked a lot better. But what really stood out to me was the fact that you had a fourth line that wasn't a liability.
Yep.
On Saturday night.
Ryan Reeves, healthy scratch for the first time this season. Obviously, we've been talking about this for the last fucking 2 weeks, man.
He needed to take a break.
Oh, God. I wonder if Tree Living came down after the Flames game, or we'll never know how this shook down, or if Keefe just had free reign to be all right, we got it. We can't play this guy, man. He's hurt. He's being benched every third period.
Well, and he's been on the ice for what? 13, 14 goals against? I know it's not all his fault, but at some point you got to be all right, man, we can't put you on the ice.
Dude, you look at the fourth line on Friday compared to on Saturday. Kampf and Saturday night against Vancouver, okay? Gregor, just the fourth. This is just the fourth line alone. and something special from Camp. Just that's coming up in a second. Gregor, 1 goal. McCann, 2 helpers. Camp, 1 goal. Where's that production been? I guess they haven't been able to have it because they've had an anchor tied around their fucking feet the whole time.
You've been playing shorthanded.
It's crazy.
Like, with Reeves on the ice, he can't keep up with the play. He can't skate anymore. And yeah, you're basically playing a man down, and all of a sudden you put McCann on there, and it's like he's nothing special. He's just somebody who can, it's just somebody who can play. He can keep up with the play. He can skate. He can check. He can shoot.
Not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you.
Average NHLer, and look at the difference it made. That just shows you like how poor Reeves has been playing. Like that Bobby McMahon looks so good.
So that was their bet. I hope they can continue that Vancouver game. Like obviously they're going to Sweden. We'll see, whatever. Little break, 5 days, and then they come back and there's a break and whatever. So we're not going to be around a whole ton over the next couple of weeks here after tonight. That's why we're trying to really make this puppy a doozy here. But look, like, how does Reeves draw back in here? After what you saw Saturday night against Vancouver, how the fuck could you even consider putting this guy back in? Like,
you can't.
You can't.
You can't. Unless, like I said, I've said this before, unless the coach feels like it's going to be a nasty, chippy game and doesn't really give a shit about the 2 points, just wants to.
Chad, was last night not a nasty, chippy game?
Yeah, but you need.
And they still pumped him 5-2.
I know. And you had guys like Gio and Domi step up and do what they had to do. I'm just saying that would be the only scenario I could see, but Keefe likes to play his 4th line. He always has since he's coming to Toronto. He likes to play his 4th line. He likes to use them more than a lot of coaches do in the NHL. And with Ryan Reeves, you can't do that.
No, you can't. Anyway, I guess I would say here, the call-ups, like we've talked about it here, but the call-ups have looked absolutely awesome, specifically just 2 guys. Robertson has played great on that 3rd line since being called up. And McMahon, it's only been 1 game, but he contributed. And all of a sudden, like just that one little difference on the 4th line, like we were just saying, has made a huge difference. All of a sudden, they're getting on the score sheet, all that. But anyway, the best game of the season against Vancouver, without a doubt. Giordano, an absolute warrior. Camp gets hit. It's a little high. Like I wouldn't call it a headshot, but it was a little bit high. Clean hit, I think there, but Giordano just was like, no, fucking not doing that shit anymore. Like, we're not doing that anymore. Right in, and he held up against a much younger guy. He held his own. He kind of pumped him. He took it to him, like just a 40-year-old guy. Like, I forgot how tough Giordano fucking is, man. Like, that guy he can go, dude.
Yeah.
So very impressive, and just so good to see. Like, you know, I'm not a huge fan of like a clean hit, whether it's open ice or whatever, like having to fight after that. But in this particular situation, I do love and it happened twice in this game. Robertson got hammered later in the game, and Domi went right in and fucking got in a scrap there too. So twice in one game, standing up for teammates. Love it. Love it, right?
Oh, and it, like you say, I don't love it. I don't love it either when there's a fight after every big hit. But in this case, in Toronto's case, it had to happen.
Exactly.
After that Boston like debacle where nobody did anything about Liljegren and they talked about it and they had a team meeting, it was nice. And the fact that it was Gio just made it so much better. Like that you have 40-year-old Gio just pumping someone much younger than him. There was a video. Did you see the video sent to us? Our buddy, the young offender, was at the game sitting right in front of the fight, and he filmed it on his phone. And
are you serious? No, I did not see that.
Yeah, you should check
That's
it out.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely will. Okay, man. So I don't know. A lot of things I loved from the Vancouver game, but specifically defensively, we kind of touched on that. They look so much better all around team defense, but specifically the guys like the 6th D man. Like, they look good. Klingberg draws back in, like, not the best, but not terrible. He didn't really hurt them. And Lagesson looks like he's a chippy fucker. Like, he's not afraid. With a haircut like that, he's looking like he'll get in the mix every now and then. So, he's not just for a fill-in guy. I think he's been the best of, like, the fill-in guys. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. I like that. Like, if a guy's standing in front of the net, he'll come and give you the lumber. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. They were clearing the crease. They were clearing the crease very well last night. After like the whistle had blown, they were 5-man unit back there. Like, get that garbage out of here type stuff,
Yeah,
right?
And I mean, Vancouver was relentless. Like at the start of the game, Vancouver was on every puck. They were winning all the puck battles. And the fact that Toronto just kind of stuck to it, it reminded me a lot of last year's Toronto team. Like that's kind of how it was when they had a 4-1 lead, 4-2 lead. They locked it down for the most part. And they did that last night.
Totally agree. So anyway, another thing, got to touch on this, the secondary scoring, man. So in particular, in the Vancouver game, Nyes 1 goal, Robertson 1 goal, Gregor 1 goal, McCann 2 helpers. And here we go. The second Seggy of the night, David Kampf, his first goal of the season. How about this, Chad? Here we go.
Time for Just the Tip.
Perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels.
How about we play a little game called Just the Tip?
All right. I like this tip.
5th goal of the game. Gregor comes up the boards, spins back around, just fires it on net. Where's David Kampf? Just standing right in front of the goalie, between the legs. Thank you very much.
Yep. Stick just straight down between the legs.
Yep. Straight between the legs. I couldn't tell.
It kind of shocked him a little bit.
I didn't know if it hit his shaft or his shaft. It was like right there.
Like I don't even, and the look on his face, like you could tell this guy hasn't tipped too many in his career.
No.
So good for Cam. It looked awesome.
Welcome to the club this season. I think he has in the past been on just a bit,
for sure he has, but it's been a long time. He's not a regular on this.
No, he is not. So the 4th line chipping in with Gregor a goal, McCann 2 helpers, Kampf gets a fucking tip in for his first goal of the season. I don't know what else to say.
Like, oh my God. Difference, man. Like a totally different one player change. And the 4th line was fucking night and day.
Like Ryan Reeves must be feeling like shit today, but only for the fact that I bet even though he was a healthy scratch, he's still I mean, they got fucking 5. They had today off and they still have like 4 or 5 days off before they play again. I bet you Ryan Reeves last night was like, all right, boys, get ready. You are not going home this evening. Pack it up. Bring your bar clothes because we are hitting the town tonight.
For sure.
And I'm sure that's exactly what happened last night.
It's not like he's not around the team, and I'm sure his character and stuff brings something to the room, but you just can't put him on the ice. You got a $3 million. What does he make? $2 million, $3 million, or 1.5? I don't know what he makes.
Who, Reeves? 1.3.
1.3 million. Oh yeah, 3 years. 1.3 million, 3-year contract for basically the team cheerleader. It's pretty good, I guess. Way to go, Brad.
I bet you he took the boys out last night and got them just absolutely pissed drunk after a great win. But hey, David Kampf, what can you say, man? Absolutely beautiful tip in, the greatest play in the history of the National Hockey League. A tip in. I don't care what anybody says. The comment that was left a couple of weeks ago from some dude saying the tip in, like questioning tip ins, dude, give your head a shake. You need to reevaluate.
You mean the guy who said our name is terrible?
Yeah, the tip in. What are you talking about? The greatest play in the history of professional hockey. You will never find a better play than a tip in. That's it. Yeah. That is period.
I'll tell you this. I saw a post that somebody posted, and it was like a picture of a hockey ring and a picture of a bedroom. And it was like, what are some things that you can say in both the bedroom and the ice rink? I'll tell you, tip in was on there multiple times.
Oh my God. Of course, multiple times. Love multiple times, man. Love that.
Multiple tips.
Okay, before we go to the final segment of the night, which is Saturday Night 5, which it's not Saturday night. We didn't do it after the game last night, but that's just what the segment's called. Usually we'll only pull it out on Saturdays, but it's Sunday, but it's okay. Still a weekend. It's all good.
It counts.
I've got a hot take here that I want to bounce off you. Might not be a popular opinion, but I'm just going to throw it out there anyway. William Nylander continues his hot play with points in 15 straight games to start the season. Now, Chad, hear me out here before you bite my head off, but here we go, okay?
Okay.
We all know the contract situation, okay? What he's doing in the UFA year. The guy doesn't have a contract. He needs a new deal. Everybody knows it. Looks like he is just not letting up anytime soon. So the price is going up for sure. should Tree Living put a drop dead date here? Like AKA or whatever, the trade deadline. Like, look, talking to the agent, talking to the player. Look, guys, we have to agree on a number by this date. If not, give me a list, or maybe he already has given them a list. I think he does have like a 10-team no trade or something like that. Give me a list. If you're not, here's, the number. Here's the number that we can do. Does that make sense to you? And if they're not willing to meet at that time, then Tree Living says, okay, I'm sorry, but I got to look at trading you at the deadline, because I can't risk you losing you. And here's why I say that, Chad. Think about a player in Leafs history. Like, what if they made that decision to move off him at the deadline? Think about what they could get in return for a guy like that. I don't know. Am I fucking crazy here or what?
I mean, it's in theory, it's a good idea, but it'll never happen. Like, it would never, ever happen, because there's no way you're not going into the playoffs without William Nylander. If William Nylander's playing like this, you're not going to give up one of the top 5 scorers in the NHL and it doesn't matter who you get back. You're not trading William Nylander before the playoffs.
But you lose in the second round, and then you're like, should have dealt him because he walks for nothing.
All right, but
how many times does that happen?
Sure, it happens a lot, but what if you trade him and you get bounced in the second round? Yeah, you maybe get something for him for sure.
Well, you would get think of what you could get for him. Let's say you make the trade and it's not a good one. Like, who you get back isn't what you wanted. You're going to get the cap space, and in today's NHL, the cap space is sometimes better than a good trade. And anyway, it doesn't matter because they're probably going to sign him. I hope so, but all I'm saying is, like, I don't know if signing, because he's playing the way he's playing, I don't know if that contract is going to get done throughout the season. He's probably going to want to wait it out now and be like, I'm killing it. I might score 50. Why the fuck would I sign now? Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, its price just keeps going up. So it scares me that he's going to price himself out, and we are going to lose a top 10 player in the league for fucking nothing. Like, all I'm saying is, like,
I get it, but man, there's just no way. Like, there's no way Tree Living is going to trade William Nylander at the trade. I get it. I get you don't want to let him walk or whatever. Could you imagine the backlash from the fans?
It's going to be tough.
Tree Living, if he's like, well, we didn't know if we could sign him, so we thought we'd trade him. Right as you're getting ready for the playoffs, maybe he's at like 40 goals at that point. He's having a career year. I don't know. I get it. I get your like the hot take.
All I'm saying is just the haul that they could get back for him would be astronomical. He's only making 6.9. Like, he could slide into someone else's cap, no problem.
And at the trade deadline, he could slide in anywhere.
He could slide in anywhere anytime he wants.
He's the best contract in the NHL, probably.
But it's just it's a little bit entitled.
I saw that fly.
I don't want to lose him. But at the same time, I'm trying to keep it out of the picture. But at the same time, I'm like imagining the haul that they could get back for him. I just think it would be astronomical. It's like franchise changing potentially if they wanted to go that route.
When's the last time at the trade deadline you saw a guy in his prime on his first real contract get traded? When's the last time you saw that?
Well,
and I mean someone not just in their prime, but in the top of the NHL.
Well, like, okay, not maybe when they're up for their first big one, but that's not what this. He's already, like, you saw Ottawa did it with Carlson back in the day. Peter Forsberg, like, there's been heavyweight dudes traded for huge hauls.
In today's NHL, making $6.9 million.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. In the prime of your career, having a career year, to get traded at the trade deadline off a team that hopefully at that time is headed for the playoffs.
I hear you. I've just throwing out a hot take there. Let us know if you're watching on YouTube, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Nylander situation. Let it ride and hope he signs in the summer, or give him a drop dead date where him and the agent need to make a decision. Here's the number, you're staying, or we got to look at shopping you. Let us know. Would love to know what your thoughts are on that. All right, Chatty, ready? For first time we're doing it this season, we got a little new intro queued up, but you want to throw to that? And we didn't even tell the people what the list is, but let's hit the intro. Then we'll come back and tell them what we're actually doing here.
All right. Well, it's Sunday night, but let's pretend it's Saturday night, and we're going to do the Saturday Night Top 5. Or is it Saturday Night 5? Saturday Night 5.
It's Saturday Night 5.
with Chad and Dale. I think we forgot to tell people what the top 5 is here. So if you want to fire that up.
All right. Well, but since it's Hockey Hall of Fame weekend, Dale and I thought we would do our list of the top 5 people or players or whatever not in the Hall of Fame that should be.
Yeah, I like that you said or whatever. I like that.
Well, because anybody in the hockey world can get into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
You could be a GM, a coach, a ref. You could play women's hockey, whatever it is.
Are we doing 5 each or just 5, 3, 1, 4, 2? How are we doing this?
Well, let's start with 5 each, but if we have multiple, like if we pick the same person,
okay,
then we'll just cut. We'll cut it down.
Okay, so you want to do 5 each?
Yeah, I have 5.
Yeah, so do I.
But if we have some of the same, then we're not gonna. Obviously, my 5 and your 5 are gonna overlap.
Okay, so. Overlap. Yeah, we might have a few overlaps here. I got a few sneaky ones here that I think you're gonna like. I've got a number 1 that is gonna blow your socks off. So just wait for that, Chad. But let us start us off here. Number 5.
Number 5, I have not in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Oh, I'm just pulling up my list here. Just give me a sec.
Want me to go?
Yeah, you go.
I don't want to steal yours, but I might.
No, go ahead.
Are you ready? Or you want me to go? Number 5 for me is Curtis Joseph, man. Yeah. I can't see how Cujo is not in. Was he the best goalie in his era? No. He played with guys like Belfour and Waugh and Brodeur and Hasek. But the tier right below those guys is Curtis Joseph. He's top 10 in wins for goalies all time. In my personal, am I biased because I love Cujo for his Toronto days? 100%. But on top of that, hell of a fucking goaltender and absolutely deserves to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I totally agree with you right there. I had at number 5, I had Alexander McGillney.
No doubter. No, absolute no doubter. How the fuck is that guy not in the Hall of Fame? I don't know.
It seemed like every year he was popping in 40 goals, and was he not at one time? I know there was Pavel Bure, but was he not at one time one of the
Bury's in.
I know, but was he not considered one of, if not the best Russian player at one time?
Didn't he score fucking 76 goals in his rookie season or some shit like that? Remember when that was Timo Solani. That was Timo Solani. Sorry.
And he's in there.
But no, McGillney, absolutely incredible. There's no way. I wonder, did he do something to? It's very political too, right? I wonder if he did something to piss.
A lot of these guys on the list, like one of the guys I have on the list, is very, very topical.
Yeah.
And I kind of know why he's not in there, but career-wise, if you're just looking at career, I mean, McGillney should be in there. You could probably find a dozen players that are in there that McGillney's better than, if not more. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You got number 4.
Okay, number 4 for me. Bit of a wild card here, both on the ice. Well, not a bit of a wild card on the ice. This guy was an absolute maniac on the ice. I'm sticking on the goalie theme here. A little surprised he's not in. If I had any part of the voting, he would be in a heartbeat. Number 4 for me. Oh, boy, I used to wear his hockey jersey number when I used to play net back in the day for a few seasons. I'm talking about classic Philadelphia Flyers goaltender Ronnie Hextall.
Oh,
number 4 for me.
I didn't even know he wasn't in.
Yeah, I think the old Hextall, I mean, his thick swinging incidents and just crazy. And I'm not talking about just hockey here, folks. Absolutely wild Ron Hextall. What a goalie, right? Hall of Famer? Well, they think he's not as of right now. Could he still potentially get in? But for me, there's a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. Ron Hextall.
Absolutely. I'm surprised he hasn't gone down there, jerseyed someone and uppercut him in the face to get in the fucking Hall of Fame.
It might be happening soon if he keeps getting left off.
All right, number 4, I had I always thought of this guy as a Leaf killer. Maybe that's just because of a couple goals he scored in overtime against him. But Jeremy Roenick.
Oh yeah, Roenick. There's another Flyer too.
Yeah, not in Hockey Hall of Fame. One of just a not a handful, but one of a few players that has scored 500 goals to not be in.
That's ridiculous. Okay, he's a very what's the word? Charismatic isn't he is charismatic, but that's not the right word. He's very what am I looking for here? he can rub you the wrong way. Outspoken, that type of thing.
He always kind of did his own thing. He was very outspoken when he played. He was not afraid to get fined and talk about the refs and talk to the media and say shit about.
So there could be a bunch of shit there, like as to why he's not.
He also brought a lot to the game. Like he made the games exciting. I loved when he was playing the Leafs in the playoffs. Like it was
for
awesome.
sure.
Him and Tucker had a little thing going on for a while. It was great. But yeah, Jeremy Roenick should be in the Hockey Hall.
Okay, I've got 3 left here and then an honorable mention. I know a reason why a few of these guys aren't in yet, but there's one guy who was on the first ballot, I believe, last year who did not, I'm going more recent now, who did not get in, and it is Henrik Zetterberg. They chose to go with the 2 Sedin twins, Luongo and Alfredsson. I don't know, man. Would I be putting Elfie in over Zetterberg? I don't think so. I don't know. It's whatever. He's going to get in. So now I'm kind of at with some guys that I believe will get in. They're just not in yet. So my list kind of weakens a little bit here. But number 3 for me, Zetterberg. He didn't get in first ballot, but he will get in the coming years for sure. Zetterberg.
Oh, that's a great one. I actually had Zetterberg on my list. So one's off my list. One is off my list. I'll do my number 3. Zetterberg was my number 2, so I'll do my number 3. My number 3, this guy is a lightning rod of controversy, and some people are gonna just hate the fact that you say his name. Some people absolutely love him, but Theo Fleury.
Oh, Theo Fleury. Yeah.
Not in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's Hall
of Fame, like numbers though. Is he a Hall of Famer, you think?
Well, he's 58th all time in scoring. But it's more the career he had, like his size and the time he played. Like he played in a league where they'd take your head off. You know, like a guy like Mitch Marner could not have played in the era that Theo Fleury played in, and he survived it. Not only did he survive, he thrived.
Was he on the 89 Cup team? I think he was.
Yeah, he was on the 89.
I think he was like a
he
rookie.
Was on the 2000 Canada gold medal team.
Okay, so some pretty good accomplishments there.
Yeah, he had a lot of points, but just the fact that he was so underrated. Like nobody gave him a chance, and he made it. Now, since he's gotten older, he's gone a little cuckoo. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, he had a major like addiction problem, and like he almost fucking killed himself. Really, to be honest. So but he's bounced back. Like he's got his life straightened out, and like he's doing a lot better. So
yeah, I watched his documentary that he had, and it was insane. Like he was talking about he was making $350,000 biweekly on his paychecks, and he would get hookers and cocaine and just lock himself in a hotel and blow. We just blow $150,000 in one weekend.
Wild stuff.
It's crazy, but yeah,
controversial pick.
Just going by his play on the ice, the time that he played, his size, how underrated it was. I think Theo deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so I got 2 guys. What am I at here? Number 2? Yeah, number 2. I'm going back to a former Detroit player. I got an honorable mention too, but a former Detroit player. The only reason this guy's not in the Hall, it's hard to believe when I looked it up, and I couldn't believe these 2 guys were not in the Hall of Fame. But it's Pavel Datsyuk. But the only reason Datsyuk isn't in the Hall of Fame yet is because he has chosen still to play. He's still playing in Europe. You are not eligible to be on the ballot as long as you're still playing professional hockey somewhere. So again, here's a guy that without a doubt, when he does finally hang him up, first ballot Hall of Famer Pavel Datsyuk, but not in yet. But the only reason is because he's still playing. There's another guy who's still playing who is going to be in honor. I don't know if you want to go there next because
he was my number 1.
Okay. So save it then. Save it.
I'll say. Well, my number 2 was Zetterberg.
Okay, so we were thinking the same thing there.
We're kind of. I mean, there were other guys I had on the list just as a joke. Okay. I mean, they had good careers, but I thought it'd be funny. Like if you're doing a top 5, I thought it'd be funny to say Randy Carlyle. Should be Rod Brindamore, not in the Hall of Fame. Should be.
So you only have one. Oh my God, Rod Brindamore! I can't. Yeah. Wow, how did he get? Oh, I missed the boat on that one. If I would have known, I thought he was. I would have had him. I would have taken someone off and put him on my list. But that's crazy to think that he's not. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, he played like 20 seasons in the NHL and all effective seasons in.
What about What about, do you think Roberts has any chance? Gary Roberts? Or do you just don't think he's like played over 1,000 games, won a cup? I don't know if he was like up for a bunch of individual awards, but just a hell of a hockey player. Do you think Roberts has any chance?
I don't know. I think there's like a window, right?
Guy played with a broken freaking neck.
I know,
Gary
but
Roberts.
I think there's like a window that there's so many players that retire that get put into the nominations. For
The more it doesn't happen, it's likely it's not going to happen.
Less likely. The longer it goes, the less likely it is, because there's all these other guys and they only put in so many every year, right? Like, what is it? You have to be retired 4 years, right, to be nominated?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. Lundqvist wasn't.
I think
been out of the game for 4 years.
I think you have to be retired for hockey for like 3 seasons at least.
Oh, I don't think Lundqvist. Oh, maybe you're right. Anyway.
He's probably first ballot. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, he was. Yeah, he was first ballot this year. You're right. So anyway, okay. Do you want to go to your number one anyway? Because I've got a number one cooking that is going to blow the wheels off this whole thing.
Well, my number one, he's your honorable mention.
He was going to be my honorable, but the only I know exactly what you're going to say. The only reason why he's not in yet too is because he's still playing in Europe.
Yeah, this guy, the day he hangs up the blades, he's going into the Hall of Fame, but he's not in there yet. Is Jaromir Jagr.
What a fucking legend, Jaromir Jagr, man. Second in points all time, Chad.
Yeah.
Next to Wayne Gretzky. And if you just do a quick,
he's 51. He's still playing hockey.
51 with a 28-year-old girlfriend. That's not a lie. That is not all you got to do is a quick little Google search of the Jagr, and he is, man, this guy has seen some talk about Zetterberg. He's right, Jagr's right there, man. It's crazy. Well, hey, man, he's got a girlfriend half his age.
If you gave Lundqvist a spread eagle based on not just his play, but also his play off the ice.
Oh God.
I mean, how would you rate Jaromir Jagr with his play and his play off the ice?
He's
might
not
be
even
a great one.
He's not even a goalie, but it's full spread eagle and a sweaty hog. His hog is drenched.
Do you remember when the girl tried to blackmail him?
Yeah, he's like, do it.
Yeah,
do it.
She took a picture.
He's like, everyone knows I fuck young chicks anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah, she took a picture of him sleeping after he banged her, and then she's like, I'm gonna post this to social media if you don't give me money. And he's like, go ahead and post it. I don't care.
Legend, man.
Fucking do it.
But honestly, Chad, the pictures on the internet of this guy with just supermodel after supermodel after supermodel, like swimsuit models, like it's fucking crazy, man. Like he is just, he has had a good life. Jaromir Jagr. He really has had the time of his life. So I love that you chose him as number one. He was going to be my honorable mention, and only because I'm like, oh fuck, half my list I'm putting guys in that are just like the only reason they're not in is because they're still playing in Europe. But anyway, yeah, Jagr, like
we know he's still playing and whatever, but I mean, he's the ultimate Hall of Fame player.
100%. All right, so here it is, man. Bit of a controversial number one pick for me, but I think once I give you all the information needed here, I think you're going to be on board for this. Now, my number one pick has never played a hockey game in his entire life. I'm not even sure if he can skate, but he deserves to be in the NHL Hall of Fame. Absolutely legend. He should probably be in every Hall of Fame, and I'm going to tell you why. My number one pick, folks, is Wade Boggs. I'm going to tell you why. Chad.
Can you be in multiple sport Hall of Fames?
If anybody can drink 69 beers or whatever the fuck it was, 67, 60, whatever, 69 beers on
it was 69
on a cross-country flight from Boston to LA. I think there was a little stopover somewhere. He said he drank a few before he drank like 12 before he got on the plane, kept drinking on the plane, was drinking like after he got off the plane. So look, if anybody can pound down the pints like that, I'm sorry, he deserves to be in the NHL Hall of Fame. So once again, Chad, before you give me your reaction on that, my number one pick, who is not in the NHL Hockey Hall of Fame, never played a game, not sure if he can skate. Incredible mustache, that gives him a lot of cred too. and just an absolute fish of a drinker. The number one pick again, folks, is Wade Boggs. Chad, thoughts?
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Am I off base there, or do you think there's a? Am I making a case?
You're a little off. I mean, I get what you're saying, but you know the professional baseball player, borderline alcoholic, with the great mustache. You want to put him in the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Anybody? I just did that for old time's sake. Anybody who's a way backer who used to listen to us way back in the day when we used to do the top 5 list.
I think our first top 5 ever was top 5 mustaches, and at number 1 we had Wade Boggs.
Pulled it out of nowhere. Absolutely brilliant stuff. It was like I was off the chair laughing my ass off. But
that's awesome.
I just thought it's been a long time, and anybody who knew the show back in the day would get that reference, what I just did there, and I thought you might get a kick out of it.
Well, maybe.
Do I really think Wade Boggs should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Maybe.
Yes.
maybe he'll part own the Bruins or something like that, and he'll get in, and everyone will be like, "Shit, Dale knew all along."
Yeah, well, there you go. Just starting it right here. Anyway,
folks, that was our Saturday Night 5. I hope you enjoyed it. Anything else, Dale?
Edmonton Oilers finally decide to pull the plug on little Woody there. Woodcroft gets the axe.
After they win.
Well, they made Ken Holland said they made the decision after the San Jose game, which they lost.
I know. Right? Why not do it then?
I stayed up to watch that game just because on Thursday night because I'm just like, I have to see what happens here.
I called it.
And they did lose, man.
I said San Jose is going to lose first, but then they score first, and Edmonton's going to. Edmonton was all over them.
Oh, sure, but they couldn't score. The goalie played great for San Jose, and that wasn't
average.
That wasn't. Yeah, again, that's all he ever is. Like that wasn't San Jose's first win. They had beaten the Flyers a day or two prior to that. Anyway. Oilers. Fire their head coach.
I mean, it still didn't look good.
No, but yeah, they went into Seattle and won, and then apparently Holland said they had already made the decision after the San Jose game. Well, why the fuck didn't you just do it then? Like, why are you waiting?
Ken Holland, Mike Babcock. What do you think?
Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? Not. Yeah. Okay.
No,
Babs is done. Babs is done. I was hey, just a little secret. I was considering my number 1 being Babcock. I was thinking about it, but I knew I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, the Boggs thing is good because it's if you pick Babcock, that's
Yeah, no, I just couldn't do it because I love Wade Boggs and I hate Mike Babcock. So no, I'm like, no, it's got to be Boggs. It's got to be Boggs.
And Dale's not making that up. That is a true story that he drank 69 beers on one trip. One 3-4 hour trip.
Dude, he's on the record saying that's not even the most drinks he's had in a day. Like he literally, like TMZ or whatever was asking him, like, what's the most you've ever drank in a day? He's like, and the guy is like, over 100. I believe him. Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Anyway, yeah, that's it, man. That's it for tonight.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, for the Tip in Maple Leafs podcast, don't forget, once again, follow us on social media at the Tip in Maple Leafs podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, on Twitter, Tip in Podcast, TikTok, Tip in Podcast. We're going to start posting there more.
Yes.
And also, we will not be back until Friday. And the game times, if you're not aware, they're going to Sweden this week. They're flying out to Sweden. And they play 2:00 on Friday. So we're probably going to do a podcast after that game.
Yep.
And then 8 a.m. Sunday.
Yep.
So maybe you want to get up and watch the game with us on Sunday morning. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll make a decision on that later in the week. See how things go.
But either way, the podcast will probably be coming out at different times. It won't be after games, or it'll be like 5:00 in the evening or noon on a Sunday.
Yep.
Just get ready for it. Anyway, until next time, I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
And we will.
Off to Sweden for a little afternoon delight on Friday against the Detroit Red Wings. Can't wait for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Go Leafs, go. This should be very interesting. A little European vacation. Can't wait. Catch you guys later.
Catch you later.